Alright guys, thank you guys for tuning in to Universe X. Today, we'll be going over a Xeno Syn deck list from my friend Joseph, and he actually piloted it to 12th place in the Unison Warrior format side event on day 2 of Nationals. It's a very, very complex deck with a lot of interactions that most people actually aren't aware of because each card has like a book and a half of text on it. But that's actually why we're going to go in depth, and he's going to show you exactly what each card does. So, before we actually jump into the interview, I want to give out the normal shoutouts and, just bumps. If you haven't been to the official Dragon Ball Super page on Facebook, the link's in the description, along with the community forum page that everybody knows and loves. I mean, it's probably how you found this video. And then after that, we've got the link to Universe X, my own Facebook page that I should probably post on more, but I'm working on it, as well as the Discord, which actually is pretty popular. Last but not least, if you like those shiny metal cards, you can go to TCGMetalZ and look at all of his inventory. He's always making more, always kind of getting on the new hot stuff. And for the limited time, maybe not so limited because we're kind of partnered, you can use the code UNIX, that's UNIX, to get 10% off your entire order. So, that being said, let's jump directly into the content. If you like it, try hitting that subscribe button because the more this channel grows, the more I'll be able to give back and the more I'll be able to do. And yeah, let's hop right into it. Alrighty then, so we are here in the Discord to get the deck profile from the special guest. So, I would like you guys just to tune in a little bit, let him introduce himself, and kind of talk about what he did last weekend.
Hey everybody, my name's Joe Gonzalez. I'm friends with Chris and some of his crew down here in Maryland and DC, Virginia. I played in that last week. Did all right in the main event, went 46th place. So played the side event and did a lot better at 12th place, playing Shenron Xeno, the other Shenron. Pretty fun deck, pretty cool things that you can do with it, and it's a lot of options where you could either mill or beat your opponent by taking their life.
Neato. So we will be getting into the deck list because I know that's what you guys all came here to see. I'm sorry, Oleg, this one is not going to be 2 minutes long, and for that I apologize to you in specific, but yeah, I gotta do it for the algorithm, 10 minutes or longer. No, but for real, I really want to get in depth, and this is not a deck you can explain in 3 minutes. It's actually quite beefy, and each card is its own 3 pages of text. So with that being said, I do want to ask, what had you choosing this deck for the Unison Warrior format on day 2?
So one of the big things I don't like to do in events is play mirrors. So I thought of the deck that I enjoy the most that can play well against everything else. I really do like Xeno Syn, but I was like, that's going to be popular. Same thing with King Cold. So then I was messing around with this, and I was like, oh, with set 15, you get a lot of options. You can have more battle cards that they hadn't have before, and those new extra cards are really good. So I was like, I think I can survive and win against almost everything. So I said, let's give it a shot.
Excellent. And you seem fairly happy with how it went. There's a lot of interactions with the deck, and also you kind of have that rogue factor because people kind of glanced over it, but seldom anybody in this game has actually sat down and read what the cards do.
Yes.
So yeah, we can go right into the deck list if you want. You can just angle it on the camera. We'll have a quick cut.
Sure.
All right. So you see the leader, and I will just let Joseph take it away.
I'll do my best. So you got Shenron, the Xeno version of him. Black leader. A lot of text up front. He's the first, if I'm not mistaken, leader with blocker. So you can protect Unison cards that you do play and little battle cards. There's benefits when you block with him. You still have to protect his life. His first auto is when he swings, you pitch a Shadow Dragon card in your hand and draw a card. And depending on what you pitch, you can actually end up drawing another card. There's a lot of drawing, a lot of filtering through this deck. His second auto is... well, that's his second auto. His first auto is on this side. When you activate an extra card, you and your opponent mill 1 card from the top of their deck. He awakens 2 different ways. He has either if you have 7 black Shadow Dragon cards in your drop area or at 4 life. And he's a 1/1, tap 1, draw 1 leader. On the back side, you still mill when you activate extra cards, but it's only your opponent this time. And when he attacks, he draws a card, and he does a 5k. I do like, for some reason, my 20k leader when they attack. He has now his new ability for Spirit Boost 1, activate main or battle. Once per turn, you can Spirit Boost and activate one of your Shadow Dragon extra cards to activate main or battle for free. So it's really nice because some of them are going to cost 2. Sometimes you end up tapping out all your energy, so that way you get free extra card activations, more mills, which will lead you to your victory. The first card, which is going to help activate your Spirit Boost, is your Unison. I play 4 the Toa Unisons. I know some people like the Bardock Unison for the draw. Toa Unison is really helpful because she synergizes with the deck, protecting her. You mill 1 and she gains an extra token, and she filters your deck because her draw 1 on her +1, you have to end up bottom decking a card into your deck, but it also lets you grab 3 of your Shadow Dragon extra cards and putting them from your drop area to the bottom of your deck. So that way you don't run out of cards, because sometimes you'll almost look like you're milling yourself out. You have also extra cards that will end up shuffling your deck, so you get your extra cards where you want them, and you can see them and activate them, and then mill people out. Her -7 is a lot like the Xeno Syn leader. I've done it once. It's pretty neat. But more often than not, between Spirit Boosting her, you're going to end up kind of staying in that 4 to 5 token range. But the Spirit Boost is very vital. So if you get the -7 off, pretty neat. If not, she's doing her job either way. I'll start off with the battle cards in this deck. So I have basic super combos. I'm using the Shadow Dragon super combo. I'll tell you right now. All the Shadow Dragon's battle cards in this deck have an effect where essentially when you play it or you discard it from the skill of a Shadow Dragon, you flip over the top card of your deck, and if it's a black Shadow Dragon card, you draw it. So there's not a lot of times where you're actually losing hand advantage because every card replaces itself. So if you flip this card, when you flip this card from one of your effects, you get to keep it. Can't do that with Vegeta, can't do it with any other super combo. So, and it's a Sparking 5, sometimes you stay high life, so that's pretty nice. The +0's kind of okay sometimes, so just don't get hit by Fu, and she's your best friend. Everybody's favorite negate if it doesn't get countered. Oceanus. She's a cost 2 on your opponent's turn. Counter attack, negate the attack, discard a card, and for the remainder of that turn, any attack against you, your opponent has to mill 4 in order to activate an attack on you. She's a blocker, so if they decide to swing and this stays on board, they already have to go through a blocker. And just like all the battle cards on this deck, when you counter with her and you pitch a black Shadow Dragon battle card, you draw 1 card for her, and then you activate her to flip over a card. You're going to hit a card. As long as it's not a Toa Unison, you're going to draw it. And if you pitched a black Shadow Dragon battle card, you get to activate it again, flip over, and potentially draw a card. So you never neg from dropping this like other decks do. Here's the 1-drops that I run. So I run 4 of the Haze. This guy, he has a special ability for 1 black energy, and you tap him down. You get to play any 3-cost Shadow Dragon from your deck. It's very nice because that keeps your energy consumption down. So you get to use all your energy for your extra cards during defense. I think the biggest battle card payment in this deck is 2. So that's very nice. You want to stay that low so then you can activate extra cards and then Spirit Boost cards. The other 1-drop I played was the promo Sinchenron Wicked Strike. He kind of is just a faster version to get to Spirit Boosting. he's okay. I used him one time, and it was really helpful that one time I used him. I don't know if I want to swap him out yet. I gotta play around with the deck. But early activations of Spirit Boost might be nice if you need to activate one of your big 2-drop battle cards. Extra cards. You have the ability to, if this is out with your Toa Unison. And worst comes to worst, you end up flipping a card. No Unison, you drew a card for it. Here we'll get to my 3-drops that I draw and play off of the 1-drop haze. 2 of the Nueva Shenron Negative Energy Explosion. For a while, I was trying out the SR, which is similar to the Oceanus from the yellow deck, which is this version. You warp him and burst 1, and then search top 5 for a 5 cost or less Black Shadow Dragon. I like it, but there's an extra card in this deck that does the same thing, and it's a little more important to get mill out, because you should try to mill out your opponent more often than not. This dude's really neat. On top of having the basic Shadow Dragon text games, he has crit, so he's already swinging pretty nice. He has 16k, so he won't get swung by 15ks. And his secondary ability is if when you play him, if you have a no Unison out on the field and you have a Toa Unison on your drop area, play the Toa Unison with 1 marker on it. So it's a nice way to recur Toa, because you can protect her all you want, but sometimes people will just swing on her, swing everything you can. And you kind of want that Unison, because Spirit Boost is very nice in this deck. The other 3-drop I play is Natron Shenron, Negative Energy Explosion, Deflect Blocker. His secondary ability is when he comes in, you get to take a battle card from your opponent's field or his drop area, which, let me double check. I believe it's 5 or less. Take one of their keywords, and he has that keyword until the end of your opponent's turn. It's really nice, since you play it off of the haze skill. The opponent has technically 2 counter windows, so depending on what they do, you can throw out this deflect blocker that can take something from the battlefield or the drop area. And he's 20k, so nice beefy body.
You know, see, I was so focused on the haze being like so annoying, how it just like swings, removes a boss card and untaps, that I didn't even realize that on that counter window too. Because I played this deck against this deck in the main event, and I sided in Vegeta Resolve Renews, and I had no idea that when I blind counter window 1, he could literally just be like, psych, deflect. And just like, oh no.
Yeah, and there's one that has barrier. That's also a 3-drop.
Yeah.
I'm contemplating about adding him, but again, if you playing against green and they go, okay, well, Frieza, you can go, oh well, actually, here's the barrier guy.
And that's like, to be honest, that's actually why I was trying to go to counter window 1, because I saw him charge the barrier 1, and I was like, if he's playing haze, I just want it to be off the field, because I mean,
yes,
haze has barrier. And I'm just like, I want him off the field, but if he plays it, it's too late for me to Yamcha it. So I would always blind counter window 1. I did not realize that he could have punked me out with a deflect 1.
He could. The deflect 1 eats stuff, which he eats 5 or less, which is a lot of good cards in this format. And then everybody's favorite battle card, if you ever gone up against it, is the Haze Shenron, Negative Energy Explosion.
Whack.
This meme boy has crit blocker, and his secondary ability is when he swings, he warps any battle card in your opponent's field, regardless of energy. It's really nice because he clears out boards while maintaining crit pressure. And he also restands at the end of turn, so he can't get swung on unless you don't want him to. So he protects your Unison if you'd like, protects your life, and he's destroying the board. And unfortunately, I only have 3 foil boys, so I gotta work on the 4th one. But for 1-drop, 15k crit, it's pretty nice.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You said you have to work on getting that card foil?
Yes, the common card that's foil.
I definitely was building a Shadow Dragon core just in case, because some of the cards looked absurd upon spoiling. So I am certain I have 2 hazes. I have a bunch of the cards foil.
Oh, wonderful. You can hook it up next time we may hang out.
Yes, absolutely. It's just yours.
All right. The last 3-drop that I play is the Sinchenron Power of Darkness. So he could technically get played off the 1-drop haze. If you really want a 20k double striker, go for it. He does have another ability where he comes out when you Spirit Boost. It's a limit 1, so you can only activate one of these. And you pay the black, he comes out, he ends up milling your opponent, and you got a 20k double striker. The other special thing I wanted to mention, yes. So it came up during the side event. He's kind of played pretty much like, the SS4 Goku now. I forgot the name. From the baby, but from the baby.
He's played like Heartfelt.
Yeah, exactly. He's played like Heartfelt. Well, when you Spirit Boost, you should present it. Because technically, you could Spirit Boost and one of the extra cards finds a card. That was a big thing. So if you have it and you want to play it, present it like Heartfelt. So you got it there. Another, again, 1-drop 20k double striker that mills a card. Pretty good. Like things cheap. So this card is the only card that is paid for full energy. The Sinchenron Negative Energy Explosion. He's a 4-drop. He has, let me read it just to make sure and I don't miss anything. Deflect, Double Strike, Barrier Blocker. All those keywords. His secondary ability is for an activate main battle, Spirit Boost 1, restand him, and then activate any extra card, any Shadow Dragon extra card for free on your turn, or on your opponent's turn. So you can play this guy, swing for 20k double strike, and if you have a Unison, immediately Spirit Boost, restand him, use one of your extra cards, activations immediately, and you could either swing again, or you have him ready to block next on your opponent's turn. And then same thing on your opponent's turn, block, immediately activate Spirit Boost, restand him, activate an extra card. Constant mill from this guy, so if he sticks around, he's a big pain. But having him as a 4-drop, kind of have to awaken the same turn. You draw him, and sometimes the defense doesn't line up perfectly. But if it does, you're in a great position if he stays on board. It's very hard nowadays. You got Kefla, you got a bunch of cards that can just end up straight up killing it. But outside of that, he's a good battle card. I think 2's more than enough. So yeah.
Bet.
Some of the new cards. This is the 8-drop Omega Shenron Darkness Absorb. A lot of the new Black Shadow Dragons have similarities to the yellow Shadow Dragons. This guy's unique. They gave all the new cards the same text as all the Black Shadow Dragon battle cards. For 1 black energy, you take one of your battle cards on the field with energy cost 5 or less, place them in the owner's drop area, and then you get to play this guy from your hand. And then when he comes into play, he warps any card on your opponent's battlefield. Big 30k body, and he takes care of something regardless of energy. Real good to maintain board clearance on your opponent's side of the field. This is my least favorite battle card, but I kind of want to make sure I have enough 5Ks and battle cards to pitch for all the effects so I can maintain hand size. This is the new Omega Shenron Ultimate Darkness. He's a unique triple striker, and he only costs 2 black. In order to activate him, you have to send 7 Black Shadow Dragon. Verify its only battle cards.
I'm getting mad just listening to it. That card actually gets me out the way. Like, I still remember.
Okay.
Oh, just keep talking.
So you're good. So you actually just send any 7 Black Shadow Dragon cards. So you can actually send some of your extra cards to play this guy. Send 7 from your drop to your warp and play him for 30k triple strike. No barrier, no deflect. You're not really usually killing him or killing people by attacking, but on the off chance you do the -7 from the Unison, or you put enough pressure somehow and they kind of slipped, you could try to catch them. I mean, 30k triple striker is never bad. It's not my go-to. He has his purposes.
So now that he's done talking about that card, oh my gosh. So this card takes 3 energy, and I'm not going to say an energy intensive deck, but it's not like black has the best energy like usage per se. But he takes 3 energy. He's got no barrier. He's got no deflect. He is a triple striker who, mind you, has to remove 7 cards, probably hampering some of your later game plays.
Yeah.
If he just gets negated and swatted off the field, like, it was one thing last format, but, like, this guy will literally be tapped on play, and then turtless next turn, you'll be like, huh.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
Well,
that, isn't it?
the big body has its pluses, but the negatives are kind of almost outweighing them. But you need battle cards. That's why I'm thinking about adding the 15k barrier blocker that restands, because he only costs 1, and he doesn't kill your drop area. So that's what playtest is for.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the battle cards. I got the extra cards now. I got here the new Ultimate Minus Energy Powerball. Originally for the event, I ran 4, so I'm been tinkering with the deck since. I think I'm still gonna go back to 4, but these are the pretty ones. So I'll show you the 3 that I got.
So good.
So he has a lot of text in this card, so I actually have to read it to make sure I don't miss anything. Counter attack for this is leader's mono black, so not just hold to Shenron. You can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 15k power or less, ignoring barrier, send it to their zone or warp. Pretty good. So you can immediately warp the attacker, or if you're swinging with leader and you don't want them to hit you with anything else, you can use this too. His other, he has 2 permanents. If you have a Unison on play, the effect to counter is free, so you can just do it, and it's pretty awesome. His activate main battle is a limit 1, which all Black Shadow Dragon extra cards abilities are limit 1, and they're all activate main battle. This one is choose one of your Black Leader battle cards. It gains 15k power until the end of battle or the end of turn, whichever comes first. And just like every Black Shadow Dragon extra card, this card also gains Shadow Dragon in all areas. So that's why when you flip it from the battle card ability, you see one of these, you see anything that's not a Toa Unison, you draw it. So it's pretty neat. You never really go down in card size, and you end up milling your opponent for 1. So 3 is pretty good. I like to go to 4 just because it's a 15k combo power that mills or saves you from an attack. Let's see. Here are now the extra cards that start to be a nuisance to your opponent. So you got Ultimate Dragon Quake. This one is activate main battle, limit 1. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards on their side of the field with energy cost greater than their current energy, and send it to their warp until the end of their turn. The only stipulation is if they have 15 cards or less in their deck, the card goes from their warp to the drop area at the end of their turn. If they have 16 or more, it goes back to the field with its skills negated for that turn. So if you've been pretty good at milling them out, you just freed yourself from a big attacker. And if not, you saved yourself. If they swung with leader first or something else, you saved yourself from having to deal with a big body trying to kill you. And this one is a mill 1. And so for a 1 drop or a 1 costed energy, not bad. This very confusing card is the Ultimate Dark Dragon Slaying Bullet. Only played 2. If I was in a best of 3, I would cite in a couple. His counterplay is very confusing. I always tell people when they start to read it, I'm never going to do it. I always pretty much stick to the activate main battle, which is your opponent chooses one of their battle cards on their side of the field and sends it to their warp. So if you've been really good about clearing their field, they only have 1 battle card swinging on you, you can use it, and they're like, oh, yeah, I only have 1 choice. The downside is, though, if they have multiple, they could get rid of something they're not attacking with. They got barrier, they can choose that guy. Even worse, if they got indestructible, this card's basically useless because they just pick the indestructible card all the time. And just for the sake of reading the whole thing, the counterplay, which is very confusing, and maybe the 1 in 100 chances that you get to use it, is if your opponent is playing a Unison card, they may either remove a marker from it for every 2 cards in their drop area and warp, or place it in their drop area instead of playing it. If they don't, your opponent can only attack 1 more time for the turn. Too many options for me to give my opponent. I have another extra card that'll stop them from attacking a bunch of times on me. And most of the time, if they're playing a Unison, they'll just be like, fine, I'll I'll only attack one more time. So if you use it like that, cool. If not, you're probably just gonna end up using the warp, getting rid of a battle card effect. Probably, I would argue the most important extra card in this deck is Ultimate Whirlwind Spin. This card is like a pseudo bean for black, which is pretty neat. Its full effect is look at the up to top 5 cards from the top of your deck and add up to 1 Black Shadow Dragon battle card among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So no restriction, you take any Shadow Dragon battle card. That means your super combos, your Oceanus negates, whatever you want. Second portion of this is you can choose 1 Black Shadow Dragon card in your hand and discard it. And if you do, your leader gains 1k power for the turn. Sometimes all you need to be is a 15k leader to stop a bunch of 15ks that's swinging at you. And the cool thing is, if you pitch a battle card, you do the whole battle card Shadow Dragon effect of flipping the card from the top of your deck as a Shadow Dragon card, draw it. So you never neg by using both. It's very cool that black has a fake beam, because black's worst thing is defense. This gives you fake defense.
It's actually kind of funny because a lot of people were looking at this freaking card or cards like these that add 1,000. They're just like, what the heck am I going to do with 1,000? And I'm just like, bro, like, you have to understand that whether it's 5k or 1k, your opponent still has to devote 1 more card to comboing out of it. Like, it's like...
Yeah. I believe it was, I gotta give credit when I heard it. I think it was from the Hermit Style Boys, from John Carlo. And a couple other people have said it too, but his resonated with me. It's like defense needs to be just a little bit broken compared to offense, because there's no neg and turning all my cards sideways. So cards like Bean, cards like this, cards like Power the Super Saiyan kinda need to exist, because you need to be able to defend yourself without just dropping your entire hand. So I like this card.
Oh, I was just about to slightly interject. John Carlo is smoking that loud pack for that comment about Power for Super Saiyan, because Power for Super Saiyan is actually snapped. Like, since
it is snapped.
It's cool.
It is snapped.
But I definitely get what he's saying.
But yellow needed it. Without it, I don't know if yellow would be as good as it is.
Without Power for Super Saiyan, Divine Presence would be just as much of a threat versus yellow as it was against
Very
blue.
much so. Very much so. I believe in the event I played 3. After thinking about it, I was like, I never play 3 beans in all my blue decks. Why don't I play 4? And it's a searching card. And it's a milling card. So it does all the 3 things you want. It finds battle cards you want. It gives you combo power. And it mills your opponent. Like, automatic 4 of, I gotta stop being bad sometimes.
Stop.
The last 1 cost extra card is Negative Energy Explosion, because it's on like half the card titles here. This guy, he is going to look at top 7, and you get 2 options. You can either take any extra card from the top 7, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck, or if you don't have a Unison play, and if you see a Toa Unison, you can play that Toa Unison on the field with 1 marker on it. 2 more copies of Toa. If you've been taking count, the deck is over 50. It's actually 56 now. And I'm gonna keep testing to see if I can push it, because I think it might be a 60 card deck. I'm not sure yet. But more copies of Toa, more options to see more of your extra cards. Never a bad idea. This is probably one of the ones that I'm gonna up to 1 more when I start testing bigger hands. Here we got the 2 costed extra cards. These are the ones that you kind of want to spirit boost, because 2 is a lot, especially in black for defense. Ultimate Ice Ray. So this card, it's like Forbidden Power from the new set, kind of, sort of. Your opponent places top card of the deck, so they mill 1 from your leader, and they mill 1 from this one. Pretty good. Additionally, you may choose 2 black cards in your hand and discard them. If you discard 2 black Shadow Dragon battle cards, once this effect is over, you look at the top deck. If it's a black Shadow Dragon card, you draw them for each battle card that you pitch using Ultimate Ice Ray. So you don't go neg, which is pretty neat. So if you pitch 2, your opponent can only attack with battle cards one more time for the turn. So if they swing with their leader first, you can hit them with this, and they might only have 1 more attack with a battle card they have. They may have 2 with a Unison and a battle card. Depending on what they attack with first, it could save you from 2 to 4 swings, which is always really good. And since you have a good way of controlling the board, you probably are going to take a lot of damage and you just milled them for 2. And you get to see more cards in your deck. The next one is Ultimate Dragon Tackle. This card can be very good or very useless in your hand, depending on the deck you're playing against. He specifically, just like all the other 2-cost ones, you mill 1 additional for... You mill 1 for playing this card, so it's a total of mill 2. And your opponent needs to have a Unison card in play. So now the option comes up whether they lose 2 tokens from their Unison. If they don't decide to take away 2 tokens from their Unison, you get to draw a card and warp something. For me, guys, warp something from their side of the field. Sometimes they don't want to lose their Unison that bad, so you end up drawing a card and warping something on their side of the field. Or you maintain control of their Unison by negging them 2 markers. Pretty good. Especially when it's free, you get to control a lot of things on your opponent's side of the field. The last Shadow Dragon extra card I got is Ultimate Pawn Shot. This is essentially Brainwash No More. You activate it, your opponent mills a card, you crit a life, and you take no damage from the battle that this card is being used in. Very good. If you need to use this to mill your opponent, you can still activate it on your turn, and they still mill 2. Brainwash No More is a really good card in every black that's been out, so why not put it in the Shenron? And the very last battle card is the ultimate SCR, Sinchenron, Corrupted by the Darkness. Not a popular SCR for the most part in almost any deck, to be honest, but the cool thing is about this guy is his ability that he counts as black in all areas. And he's also a Shadow Dragon. So if you flip him over from one of your Shadow Battle, it's a tongue twister, Shadow Dragon battle cards. Oh, it kind of is. If you flip him over, he's yours. You draw him. So there's no need to worry about flipping over Kai or Pan and putting him in the bottom of the deck. You draw this guy. Really cool. Whirlwood Spin. Top 5, you see him, you want him, he's yours. There's no limit to what you can do. This guy is a blocker as well. You combo him, so you pay 1 energy. At the end of a battle in which you combo with this card from your hand, you get to play him from your drop area. If you do, choose any number of your opponent's leader cards, battle cards, and Unison cards equal to or less than their current energy, ignoring barriers, switch into rest mode. So for 2 energy, if they mis-sequence themselves, you can tap down all their threats. The secondary effect, what I learned from practice, is not for this deck, which is activate main, pay 4 energy, and he becomes a double strike dual attacker. For other decks that might be good, but honestly, just a 40k blocker on your side of the field that saved a turn from you because he tapped everything down is pretty good. That's all I need. You have your energy to mill, which is what you want to do. So that's the deck. 56 cards. I'm gonna mess around with 58. I'm gonna mess around with 60. There's a lot of filtering, a lot of looking through the deck, so it feels like you can see everything you want still, even though it's a max size deck. It's very fun, and yeah, that's my explanation for Sinchenron.
Excellent. Yeah, for anybody like just still here with us, when you go through this deck, like, it sounds weird going up on that many cards, but for real, every single card in this deck, pretty much, when it activates or discarded, you get to check the top card of your deck. And so really, when you go up above 50, you're just kind of lessening the chances of you accidentally flipping over one of your dreaded 4 Toa Unisons and not being able to take it to hand. So the deck really does
100%. Yeah, I remember I always played decks at 50, and when we originally made this at 50, I was like, this is very low. And I just started adding, and I was like, I still see everything, and I filter so much, and everything is like top 5 for this, top 5 for that. So I was like, yeah, everything is almost a cantrip. Why not add as much as I can?
Yep, and you don't really need sequencing in this deck. You filter, you'll get those cards to start playing them. So,
Yeah.
Switching back to this view, I just wanted you to drop any closing statements you had for the video, dude. Like, anything you want to say.
Pretty much, I think the deck is playable not just outside of the UW format. I think it has defenses since it's not a black aggro deck. That's what black tends to lean on. It actually has defenses. With all the new sets of cards, you have enough defenses to potentially mill everybody out. My only 2 losses were because just time. I didn't have enough time. I wasn't gonna die in the next couple minutes, and I was definitely gonna mill them out, but it takes a while. Other than that, I gotta thank my buddy John, who I'm always playtesting with, and everybody else in the DMV, especially all the boys that we went to next with.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
For real, shout outs to John, though. He is the homie. I learned this very intimately. Well, that sounds awful. I learned at Nats that both Joseph and Jonathan were the homies. It was actually really cool to meet them. And it was just cool. Like, the event in general was just like a blast.
Very fun.
Well, awkward phrasing aside, thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to close out, and yeah, if you like the content like this, think about subscribing. And if you're ever in the DMV, we do have locals once in a blue moon on Sundays when our
it's a pretty good locals
when it happens. When our TO decides to actually hold it. But I'm not going to get into that. Point being, if you guys are in the DMV, hit us up. We got a little Facebook group, like, always down to throw cardboard.
Yeah, we got a lot of good players. You can learn a lot from everybody here.
Alrighty then. See you guys the next time inside Join Universe X.
Take care.